applied for the job, I met the managing director, who was just 2 people at the time in the business. I luckily had a lot of transferable skills, so I was studying English, like I say, at uni, so I had a real passion for writing and experience there, and because of that, they kind of took a chance on me and said, well, we'll give you some press releases to write, and it kind of grew from there. So I was writing my dissertation at the time, and I was working sort of 4 hours a day in this role, and then when I finished uni, I thought, okay, well, like a lot of people, I could, I don't know, maybe go home and try and find a job in London, or I could have a word with the person I'm working part-time with and just see what opportunities are going on, because at that point I was really getting a feel for PR. So some of the things I was doing on a day-to-day was, like I say, writing press releases, but also I was calling journalists. I was sort of discussing story ideas with the team. I was actually speaking to clients by that point as well, and it kind of grew from there. And I definitely would say you have to kind of put yourself out there a bit for people to kind of take a chance on you, but it was certainly something that helped then put me in a good position to get a full-time role in the business. So that brings us to sort of middle of 2011 when I started working for the business, and for the next 2 years I kind of grew within the role. So I started off as a PR assistant, then moved into PR executive role, and then eventually a senior account executive role, which is something I would say is quite common within the PR industry, progression-wise, that if you enjoy it and you kind of put a little bit more into what you're doing, you will progress, maybe more so and more quickly than in other industries. There is definitely a very clear structure in which you get given more responsibility and more job roles. So certainly if it's something that you're looking to progress in, it's a good career path to get onto. For 2 years I absolutely loved my job. I mean, if I was to describe it on a day-to-day basis, it would be quite hard, as Ed has already mentioned. There's literally 1 minute you are writing a press release, then you're answering a call from a client, then you are preparing for an event to launch a product, or someone's suddenly got an emergency in their world where they think the wrong thing's been printed in press. That you could be doing literally anything on any one day, and that's definitely a quality you need within the industry to kind of be prepared to take on things that you didn't think you would have to. So after a few years, I really kind of had reached as far as I was going to go within the agency at the time. We employed 4 people, we only had a certain amount of clients, and by then I was kind of thinking, well, I need to try something else and get some different kind of experience. So I started looking and exploring about what else was out there, looking at other job opportunities. And places that I looked for those were places like PR Week Jobs, Guardian Jobs. With on LinkedIn, you will find that there's just a whole host of PR jobs being advertised there, including very entry-level roles. So I definitely say it's worth having a look if you're interested. And then I ended up in in-house roles. So we've spoken about agencies, but also on the other side, there's in-house roles where you actually work within a business in their communications function. So a lot of companies might not have that function, maybe due to budgets, so they perhaps use an agency or have extra support from a PR agency. But actually, if you're more interested in working directly for a business, you'll find that some of them do have communications departments. So I ended up working for a communications department for a brand called World Duty Free, which is, you've probably all seen it if you've passed through an airport. It is basically the duty-free retailer in the UK. And I had a great time there. I was working with lots of brands like beauty brands and liquor brands. It was very different to where I'd worked before, and that was great because it meant I was collecting a different type of experience. So whereas before I'd been doing more kind of consumer-focused stuff, talking to publications,